you. Everybody? Guys.
All right. How are you doing? No, you're fine.
All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and hop right into it. So before we get into food, first of all, I just want to say thank you. As you guys know, it's Member Appreciation Week. This week is just all about you guys and providing you with just either fun stuff or ways to say thank you. And for today, we're going to talk about, obviously, food. Second, fitness, my favorite topic. Tonight is all about really helping you if you struggle with meal prep or being prepared for the week. You do a lot of spontaneous eating, which can sometimes get us into trouble. It's really more so about helping you to see how simple it can be and how to see what resources are out there for you guys, because it's not as hard as we want to make it, and we are creatures of overthinking, and it should be extraordinarily simple. So we're going to talk about not only how to think about building a meal in its most simplest form, but we're also going to talk about ways to approach grocery shopping and preparing for the week so that midweek you're not scrambling and you hit McDonald's 3 times. Because you guys are putting in all of the hard work here, but as you guys know, like, this is the fun stuff. What happens in the kitchen or the food that happens outside of the gym, that, and you just have to be honest with yourself, that is 80% of your health, right? We get to do 20% of the fun fitness stuff here, but the food that you have on a regular basis is what is going to dictate your overall health and your overall body composition, right? The sooner we can accept that and the sooner we stop living in denial about the food that we're eating, the better it is, the better choices that you make, and those choices no longer become choices, it just is. It's just how you eat, right? Fun story, Jason and I, we were out of town, and a friend of ours was watching Simon, and they took Simon to IHOP. And Simon ordered from the menu, I see what he does, he loves menu restaurants, but he ordered a chopped salad at IHOP, right? And I just like chuckled, and he has a salad in his lunch every day because he asks for it, because it's the food that he sees and has grown up with. Now, I'm not saying we eat salads every day and you don't need to live on salads, but the fact that he asks for that food and he talks about how when he has other food it hurts his belly, and we have those conversations about why, and then he will pass it up and he will say, no, I'll take the chicken chopped salad, extra hard-boiled eggs on that, please. Right? And so my hope is that what we do every week in our household, I am preparing him so that he doesn't have the struggles that some of us have. So if he can grow up and that's just how he eats, then it's breaking that cycle a little bit, right? Fast food isn't even on his mind. Every once in a while he's like, can I get an ice cream cone? But I'm like, yeah, me too, man. Right? But it's not a thing, right? And he doesn't feel like he's missing out either. It's not something that he asks for, right? So simple. The more simple you do it on a regular basis, just like the gym, then it becomes a part of your everyday life, right? Cool. So for those of you that don't know Amy Goldsmith is our dietitian that we refer to. She actually is just right up the street. You can walk to her office. She's probably, 3 blocks away?
Yep.
Which is awesome. If you weren't here for her talk in January, we will be doing it again. Don't worry. But Amy's going to walk through some things, and then we both kind of brought some of our favorites. So, like, this is Amy's, here's mine. This is actually what I ate for lunch today and what I ate for dinner, right? So we'll kind of talk more about those in just a little bit. So, cool? All right.
Great. All right. Hi, everybody. There's some new faces that I haven't seen because I'm so rigid with my schedule. So I usually come to Odin around usually noon or 9:15. So it's nice to see some of you that I might not have met. Like Allison said, I'm a dietitian. I'm older, so I've been a dietitian for 25 years, which blows my mind. And I've had my practice for about 14 years. So I am all about, because of the experience that I have, I'm all about sustainability and ease, right? I think that nutrition is a hot topic. Everybody has an opinion about it. It's not necessarily scientific, and there's not evidence, and everybody sells, and we all buy because we want something that's a quick fix. So I will first tell you all, I love to cook. I now hate it because I have a family and it has become a chore, right? But if I am by myself and everybody's gone, like I love to just open my refrigerator and just start cooking without a recipe. I kind of know how to do it, but it does become a chore. And because of that, and having a family and working and all that kind of stuff, I have gotten to hate meal prep, right? And then I really started to hate it even more when I started to get on social media and I saw all of the crap that is on there with, what you should do and how you have to measure every single morsel and, you have to remove this food and, oh my gosh, I can't believe you eat that and you're going to have inflammation, which is like the $1 million word that everybody uses right now. So I want any of you who have meal prepped before or who follow somebody who meal preps, I want you to just shake it out of your mind right now. We're going to kind of have an open, we're going to have a growth mindset on how we can kind of change it. So I want to make sure that you guys get the most out of this. So throw out and don't be shy. What are your obstacles with meal prep and planning? Can you tell me what your obstacles are? You do not need to be embarrassed. Time. Oh my God, time is my most valuable thing. Time, yes. Creativity, yes. Make a mess. You don't want to clean it, right? Right? Anybody else? Expensive, yes. Cleaning. Lack of planning, yes. Anything else? Just don't want it, right? Like low motivation, right? Low motivation, it's a chore, right? How about groceries? Right? So I would say you all brought out the key obstacles. So I want to start with what you said, right? I just don't want to, right? Think about that. Part of the reason why we might not want to is because we have a perception of what it needs to look like, right? It needs to be this pretty creative, gorgeous little thing, and we've got to spend a couple hours in the kitchen on a Sunday when we want to be watching football, right? That's why you don't want to do it, right? And that's why it becomes a chore. You have low motivation. So if we can kind of reframe that to, I'm going to make this as easy as possible and easy and quick as possible, and then we work on that, then we can create a pattern where it doesn't suck as much, right? Groceries. I hate going to the grocery store. Before the pandemic, I started doing Instacart. I think we started doing Instacart around the same time, right? Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like I did to my office. Yeah. I do too. Yep. And it's just, yeah, and it's just something you don't want to do. And I mean, if you think about it, you can get the like a free delivery for the year. It's not free. You have to pay $75. But if you break that down, that's less than a quarter a day, right? So something that I tell all of my clients all the time is to have a hard conversation with yourself and really figure out how much per minute is your time per minute, right? So what is worth your time and what is not. Like going into the grocery store and walking up and down the aisle without a plan, to me, is the biggest waste of every single person's time here. You're going to spend more money than you need to. You're not going to come out with groceries and not have a single plan, right? And then if you overbuy, like if the fruits and the vegetables look absolutely glorious, at Wegmans, because they look so pretty, and you bring them home and you don't eat them in a couple of days, you're throwing them away. So you're just kind of throwing money out there. So I think it's important to think about, how can I make that easier? Instacart is great. You spend less money. You have a plan. And as you build your grocery list, you can do this wonderful thing every single week where you can say, buy again. And it just takes less time and less time and less time. Other things that you can do, there are companies out there like Hungry Harvest. Has anybody ever heard of that? Yeah, I love that place. They're great. It's a box, and you can choose what size box you want. I have the smallest box. I think it's like $27 now. I think they have the largest box. I don't know. It might be like 50 or something like that. And you can get a box that comes and it's delivered to you every single week. It's fruits and vegetables, and you actually get to go in and say, they'll tell you this is what's going to be in your box, but you actually get to change it, which is kind of cool too. It doesn't look as pretty as some of the irregular fruits and vegetables. Like the tomatoes look a little bit weird, but I'll tell you, they taste exactly the same. And it's kind of neat because you'll get an email. This is what's in the box for the week. It helps you with meal prepping and planning, right? Like my box had like kale in it this weekend. And I was like, awesome, because it's supposed to get, well, I thought it was supposed to get cooler, but I was like, oh, kale, I'm going to get my crushed tomatoes, I'm going to get my sausage, and I'm going to get my noodles. I'm going to make my stew. Do you know what I mean? So it kind of, that gives you a little flair of creativity. And then we also have all of these meal prep companies, right? Allison and Odin is using one here, Mighty Meals. There's a bunch of different ones out there. And I think if you really kind of had that hard conversation with yourself, how much is my time worth? You may just be somebody where it is worth it for you to get a couple meals a week. And that might be your lunch, or it might be your breakfast, or it might be your dinner, right? So the last thing is time. Okay, so we've got to be smart with our time. I feel like I was born with this, and one of my kids was born with this. There's nothing that pisses me off more than taking time away from me, right? Like I don't tolerate it well. I look at my schedule. If I'm overscheduled, I'm like, why did I do this to myself? I just need my own time. And I think we should all respect that about ourselves, right? So the reason why meal planning sounds terrible from a time perspective is because we have this perception that we have to spend hours in the kitchen, with our plates all out like this, okay, here we go, you know what I mean? And yeah, and we've got to be creative. It's got to look like glorious. We've got to be smart about that. So I know if for example, this week I was doing kind of like a Cobb salad. Not really. I kind of like make it up as I go. And I knew I needed chicken because I wanted chicken in it. And we actually had chicken on Sunday night. And so I just bought I shop at Aldi and Costco. I bought the excess chicken. And then since I was already cooking chicken on Sunday at the same exact time, I put the rest of the chicken in, right? I'm already cooking dinner on Sunday anyways, right? And I think we did asparagus or something like that on Sunday, but I already had the oven on. I was already broiling the asparagus. So I took my other sheet pan and I took a bunch of my other vegetables. I threw them on that. I put some oil on it. I cooked it at the exact same time that I was doing the dinner, right? And I don't really like to grill because I suck at it really, but like my husband loves to grill. So if he goes outside to grill, I'm like, awesome, you're doing this. Can you put these pork medallions on? Really trying to do the same thing, everything around the same time that you can. But there's also other opportunities to cook really quick. Does anybody have any ideas of like some of the gadgets that you can use to cook things really quick? Instapot, air fryer, crock pot. I made a flank steak in my air fryer the other day. I mean, I think my husband was mortified because he's the griller. And I was like, I'm going to try to make this flank steak in the air fryer. And he's like, what? And literally it was 3 minutes on each side. I was like, ooh, and it was perfect. And I mean, 6 minutes total, right?
I make 2 flank steaks every week.
Yeah.
Both in the air fryer.
Yeah.
That's part of what I prep.
Yeah.
That's part of what I ate for my lunch today.
It's awesome. Yeah. So I would say, again, like,
I get the package from Costco. They're 2 flank steaks. I just throw them in a Ziploc bag with a little marinade.
mm-hmm.
Sometimes they sit overnight. Sometimes they sit for an hour. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then I literally throw one in the air fryer when I'm like doing other stuff. Okay, done. And it's done.
Yeah.
Chop it up.
Yep. Chop it up, put it in the fridge, right? And so, I mean, again, it's thinking about those appliances. I held off with the air fryer. I was like, this is weird. Like, what the heck is this thing? It doesn't look good on my countertop, you know what I mean? Like with my aesthetics in my kitchen. Not that my kitchen looks that great. But then I finally bought it, and I have realized it is a lifesaver for a busy family. I mean, salmon is awesome in there. Shrimp is awesome in there. You can put things in frozen. And so again, it's thinking about like how valuable is my time. And if you are going to do, shrimp for a little bit for your lunches, when you're cooking dinner on Sunday, throw some shrimp in the air fryer while you're already in the kitchen. Beep, like Allison said, you're done. Put it in the fridge and you're ready for the rest of the meals. You said Instapot. I love my Instapot too. Anybody here have an Instapot? I think that is also very, very quick as well. And there's lots of different recipes that you can do with that. And then of course the crock pot. I think the crock pot, it's not as popular with my family because I think they feel like everything's kind of mushed together, but I'm like, chili is great in a crock pot. So I'm like, anytime, right? So thinking about those types of things are really, really important. So next thing is when you are thinking about meal planning, I want you to eat things that you like. I want you to have taste. I don't want, and I tell all my clients this, I don't want you to have baked chicken, plain rice, and broccoli at every meal. That sounds horrific. I mean, honestly, I think about chicken with no flavor, I think is probably about the worst thing in the world. I don't know if anybody agrees with that, but it is absolutely, yeah, yeah, right? So I want you to think about having it taste good. And I think the fear with people is like, well, if I make it taste good, it's going to be bad for me, right? This diet culture perception in the United States of America, where if I have a little bit too much fat or, a little bit too much grains, like my macros are going to be off. So I'm going to say something right now, and I do not want to offend anybody because I'm a outspoken, transparent person. There is not one single person in this gym who, if they have one serving over fat than they need, that it's going to destroy your health, right? A statistician would sit here with me and say, why the hell are people weighing their goddamn food, excuse my French, every single day, right? If you want to do that, of course. If you have found that there's a need to do it, right? You don't understand portions and you want to, of course. But there is not a need to get so much into the nitty gritty and say, well, I don't really want to have fat, so I'm going to have this plain, meal that I hate. And because I hate the meal, I don't want to do the prep, right? And then when I don't do the prep, I get to work, and by 11 o'clock, my stomach starts to rumble, and I think, oh my God, what am I going to do? I work right up the street. The only thing that we can do that's fast is Taco Bell, which is delicious, but my stomach will be not feeling good, right? And so you need to kind of think about making sure that it tastes good, and then also thinking about what is going to happen if I don't do this, right? So what are the ramifications? I think that that's kind of that cost analysis that I talk to a lot of my clients about. Like, okay, I don't want to do this. Great. I mean, I can't tell you how many things I do in a day that I really don't want to do if I was listening to my internal conversation, right? But then I say, if I don't do this, what will happen? And I think if you think in the future, what will happen if I don't do that, it can motivate you to kind of do the meal planning and prepping, right? So somebody said creativity. And then I think, did anybody here say that they don't know how to cook or they don't like to cook? Okay, that's a thing. I mean, it's like, I keep saying my kids are going to have no idea how to cook if they don't get their butts in and help me in the kitchen a little bit more. I mean, they know how to do the air fryer, but they have no idea how to do, make something complicated, right? So that's where we brought some of these products, right? I have no relationship with any of these products. Nobody wants me to tout their products out there. I would say everybody is different. My creativity really, I have a hard time with protein. I'm not as creative with it. I don't like to grill. I rotate chicken, salmon. I do the sardines and anchovies and things like that. But I have a hard time with it. So I got a couple of these things from Costco. I get them every week to every 2 weeks because now I have teenagers and they eat all my food, which is super annoying. Has anybody tried these things from Costco? Okay. So I saw them and I was like, oh, I'm not sure about these. And I was like, okay, I'm going to buy them. But they are grilled chicken bites. They're fully cooked. It's 3 ounces right here. You literally open it up and you can put in anything. And again, I thought it looked weird, but it is good textured grilled chicken, right? So this is I know, and it's $14.99. I had it delivered from Costco today, so it was $6. They upped their prices just a little bit. So you get, I think, 12 of these packets, right? And we do a million things with these. So no, they're refrigerated. So it's nice. You don't have to do that weird thawing thing, right? And then microwave it. What'd you say? I'm sure you could. I don't see why you couldn't. Yeah, I don't see why you couldn't. Yeah. I mean, but think about it. If this is 3 ounces, right? If you're somebody who needs more than that, you could double up the chicken. We throw it in salads. I throw it in, like if I make pasta, I'll do like pasta and broccoli, like boring, but I'll do like a butter sauce with like a little bit of Parmesan cheese and warm it up in here. It's delicious. I put in antipasta salad. My kids love like chicken Caesar wraps. I don't know why, so I get the big burrito wraps. They actually feel like they're cooking when they do this. They dump the chicken in there. They put shredded lettuce and Caesar salad. Done, right? So, I mean, for somebody who doesn't really like to cook, I have a hard time with this sometimes. Like I look at a product and I'm like, oh, $15. I'm like, that seems pricey. That's my first reaction. That seems pricey. But then it's like, okay, when I break it down, it's like, yeah, but I potentially have 12 servings of chicken and all I have to do is pop and drop, really, right? So I think this is a great product.
Single Chipotle bowl is $8 to $10.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, seriously, right? These are my new things. I think like other dietitians might be like, I cannot believe that you're talking about salami and cheese. But I mean, I'm Italian and you gotta like your food, right? Yeah. And we all need fat. We all need protein, right? So this might be a little bit higher fat, but you get about 22 grams of protein in here, which is amazing. If you're somebody like, I have a hard time getting my protein in because I don't crave protein foods for some reason, but these are great as well, right? So we make like a antipasta salad with this, and my kids like look at TikTok all the time for like recipes. There's this like chopped salad, like sub type thing, and I just buy these and I just literally pour it out on the tray and just chop, put it in salad. Very, very easy. I have this at my office almost all the time because sometimes we do it for snacks too, like this and crackers. So this is a little bit more. It's $16, but you get 12 of them again. So again, a little bit more fat, but a way to get protein and it tastes good. And you need to change it up sometimes, right? This is my favorite thing, and I'm going to open all these things up so we can taste them. We can't taste this because this is my expired, but which I was so ticked off about because I had it. I know you can freeze it, and I totally put it in my outside fridge, and this is the most delicious. I mean, again, I have no relationship with them, but if they need a sales rep, I will do it for them. It is sliced grass-fed beef. 19 grams of protein per serving. Let me see here.
It comes in 2 packets.
It comes in 2 packets.
And they're vacuum sealed.
Yep.
So you can easily freeze it.
And there's only 5 grams of fat, and they're already pre-sliced. So it is so good. So the first time I bought this, my kids were like, "What are we having for dinner tonight?" And I was like, I'm going to do roast beef and gravy, roast beef, mashed potatoes, gravy, and a salad, right? And usually, like, I put the roast in and all that kind of stuff. And I just heated this up and I sliced it up and I did the mashed potatoes and gravy. They're like, this is the best roast that you've ever made. And I was like, yeah, no kidding. It's already flavored, but it is literally delicious. This is a little bit more expensive. It's $25, but it's a really, really good lean cut of meat. And I mean, perfect. If you're thinking about meal prepping, you just pull the slices. I think 3 ounces ends up being like 6 slices or something like that. And again, you can put it in any type of meal. You can make a sandwich. You can just do your like couscous, this and some veggies. It's already flavored. It's delicious. Already cooked. It is amazing. And you can eat it. Yeah, sous vide.
So it's already cooked and sliced and everything.
It's delicious. I mean, I have been known to like when I'm hungry and I have like 10 minutes like in between patients, I will like eat it like when I'm walking because it's so good. Okay, so did you have other protein? Yes, I want to.
These are all my favorite things. Yeah, so I brought a couple things. A lot of them are from Costco. So I brought like what I ate for lunch today, which is air fried flank steak.
Yep.
A little sprinkle of goat cheese, a chopped up apple, and spring mix. If you like cucumbers, carrots, all that stuff, I don't like cucumbers in my salad. Don't do that. But anyways, you can put whatever you want in it, but flank steak and apple is one of my absolute like favorite things. So that was my lunch today. And then, yes, my biggest thing with meal prep is protein and rice. I make a batch of rice with a rice cooker. I make rice on Sundays. I make about 3 cups of it, so it makes like a big, almost like this size container of rice or whatever. So I make rice and I cook any proteins that I want for the week, unless it's something like this where it's already pre-cooked. So usually I'm making like chicken thighs, and also flank steak. But other things that I like that are pre-cooked, these guys, the teriyaki, they're chicken meatballs, and they have a really great breakdown. They're not extremely high in fat. Now, we've been saying like fat, right? Like fat is good for you, but it's one of the first things that people can just blow out of the water, right? But these are lower fat, and for one serving, so 4 meatballs is 14 protein, 7 carbs. It has pineapple in it. It's like a teriyaki pineapple. And then 7 fat, right? Yeah, so anything under 10 for that serving is pretty solid. So anyway, so I use these a lot. I throw them in the air fryer when they're like frozen solid. They're already pre-cooked. What's the name? They're from Costco.
Amy Lou.
Amy. They make great breakfast sausages.
Yeah.
This brand makes great chicken breakfast sausages already pre-cooked. Throw them in the air fryer. We do every morning. So that is one. And so tonight, like I took the 4:30 class, I was going to be here with you guys. So I ate my dinner, and this is what I ate. I ate the chicken teriyaki meatballs and my favorite vegetable blend. This is from Costco, giant bag, stir fry veggies. I took 2 handfuls of them frozen, alongside a couple of my favorite wontons. These are not fried. So you can throw them in the air fryer, which we do all the time, which makes them crispy and delicious. Or a lot of times I'll throw them in my lunch, and then when I put everything in the microwave, the frozen veggies defrost, the cold meatballs get warm, and now I have steamed dumplings. It is delightful. So that is literally what I ate for dinner tonight. I also had a little bit of rice that I threw in there as well. And then this is my all-time favorite. I use it as a marinade on my flank steaks, but I also like drizzle it on my salads, or like today, because it's like an Asian kind of sauce marinade, if you will. I just like squirt it around on top. Costco. So like this is a regular thing for me. Like this, it's veggie, rice, and some sort of protein, and then I just flavor it accordingly. That is a go-to for me. Then the other thing that I get from Costco, and we make a lot of like chicken salads and things with this. So they have the rotisserie chickens. This is where I am in my life. I'm done pulling the chicken. And they pull it for you. But this is all breast meat of the rotisserie chicken, vacuum sealed, multiple chickens in here, right? It's rotisserie chicken. So instead of you bringing home the chicken and doing the thing,
the skin,
it's vacuum sealed. It's only breast meat. This we use for like, I'll make chicken salads, or I'll make this same salad instead of flank steak. I throw in the chicken, or
quesadillas.
Like
you could do a million
whatever.
things.
Sometimes I get home late at night and I literally will do a bag of frozen vegetables, which I'll talk about in a second, with this chicken, some rice, and then I do one of these guys.
Yeah.
So that is a really easy one to do. When it comes to veggies, I love to cook, but I don't necessarily, if I don't have time, then I don't want to fuck with it. Like I want to like,
yeah.
I got time, I got music on, I got
glass
a nice
of wine,
coffee, something. I'm like, stay out of my kitchen, I'm cooking. Well, that happens maybe once a week. So on the other days, I pull out of the freezer. These are steamable bags. This is one of my favorites. It's broccoli, carrots. What are those white crunchy things called? Water chestnuts. Yeah, water chestnuts and edamame. We've got edamame.
So it's got some protein in it.
Yes. And so I I'll either microwave it or I'll throw it in a pan because I like to like sear the edamame. It's just whatever. It's toasty. It's delicious. Anyways, I eat an entire bag of that. Don't judge me. But this is a single serve in my house. And then the other one that I really love is this one. It's green beans and red skin potatoes, and it's delightful. And whatever protein I've already cooked, right? 'Cause I do not want to come home at night and cook protein.
Yeah, that takes the
That is
longest.
the thing. So on Sunday, when I'm doing laundry or doing whatever, I have things in the air fryer that for forever. Throw the flank steaks in. When the flank steaks are done, I take them out. I do some chicken thighs, and then we just have that. So like, I will do this with some chicken thighs, whatever. Allison, how do you make the chicken thighs? Oh, well, Chloe Bishop. Which one? Oh, my crispy chicken. Oh. Yeah. So this is where you don't have to get fancy, but it's really, really good. So chicken thighs, breadcrumbs. You don't dredge it. You do nothing. You take the chicken thigh. That's fried chicken, and it makes the best chicken sandwiches. It is like Simon will eat. I have to stop him. He will eat 3 chicken thighs. That's for the rest of the family. But that crispy chicken we do regularly, and I use it for all. I do like a chicken parm kind of thing, but that chicken thigh was air fried.
Yeah.
So it's super. It gets really crispy and it's really good. You don't need to do like the egg flour. No, it's already wet. Just boneless, skinless chicken thigh. I use just like the seasoned. It's Wegmans seasoned breadcrumbs. Like it's nothing. It's like, and it looks like it's slightly dusted. Like there's barely anything on it, and then you cook it, and it's crispy as shit. So,
and if you're sitting here thinking of this and it sounds good, I mean, think about everybody has a different work situation, right? So if you're somebody who gets these things and you're like, this all sounds great, but like I don't want to plate it. Like I get these things from Amazon, but you're like, oh, but like sitting here and plating it. Okay, so then like if you have a microwave and you have freedom at work and you can bring
that freezer right now?
Yeah.
Bags of frozen vegetables.
I mean, you could prep
popsicles and veggies.
Yeah. I mean, you could literally prep all this, or like I bring this, it's in my refrigerator, you know, and so I work off of it through the week. I tend to not get bored with food because I view it as fuel. If I don't eat, it's bad for everybody, right? And then bring this, you just microwave it. So that's enough, and it doesn't have to be fancy. Do you know what I mean? And if you're like, well, but Amy, I don't know what to do from the portion perspective, I have these little plates that you guys can all bring. Now, keep in mind, these plates are different for everybody based on their needs. So I have this as the athlete's plate, half is grain, a fist of protein, a fist of fruits and vegetables. You wouldn't want to increase the fruits and vegetables. I make these kind of for everybody and work off of them. But take these and just dump it on there for a couple days, and you'll get used to the idea of what the portion is. You know what I mean? So these are for you guys to take. But just be realistic. What is the most sustainable for me? Like Allison said, I've got everybody that works with me now, all of our providers. Instacart just walks right into our kitchen now and just dumps everything because we just order it. It's in our refrigerator. We know we have a microwave. You know, we just got an ice maker. I'm going to get an air fryer there. Do what works for you, right? So those are a lot of the protein options. I just brought this rice because I got this. I don't know if I get this at Aldi or Costco. Okay, I'll get this from Aldi. I love Aldi. Yes. And just because my kids tend to like, I don't know, they like the texture of the jasmine rice better. And I was like, whatever, I'll order it. And then I was like, oh, I like it better too. It's really delicious, right? And I mean, if you haven't tried shopping at Aldi, it is worth it. It is so much more reasonable. I challenged one of my clients who said like groceries are getting so expensive, which they are very expensive. And she has 3 kids. And I said, okay, give me your grocery list. She goes to Wegmans. And I said, I guarantee if you go to Aldi with the same list that you will save $75. She's like, no way. She came back. She's like, I saved $96. And she's like, that was just in a week, right? So it's worth it. It's all the same thing when it gets on the dock. It's just rebranded and moved. The reason why it's less is because Aldi doesn't spend a lot of money on their marketing and all that fancy stuff, right? But again, I do the Instacart from Aldi. So again, I have no relationship with them. It's just ease. From another protein perspective, people love this or they hate it. If you hate it, I feel bad for you because I love it so much. This cottage cheese is such a great source of protein. It fills you up. I have this in my fridge, and I know this grosses people out if they don't like it. I have this in my fridge and at work too. A half a cup. Does anybody know how much protein you get from a half a cup of cottage cheese? 13 grams, right? You can also get that with Greek yogurt too. So if you like Greek yogurt, right? Skyr, yeah, yep.
So this little guy's got 13.
Yeah.
No,
So
15.
okay. So right. So that's something to do. And if I am like really bored with like meat and I'm like, I do need to have protein with my carbohydrate. I need to have every macronutrient. If I just eat carbohydrates, I'm literally starving in an hour. Like it just goes like I just use it. I always have garbanzo beans. Always. I don't know if these are my favorite beans. I don't really. Black beans are okay. I always have garbanzo beans. I throw them in my salads. I throw them in my pasta. I mean, I think this is like 40 cents or something like that. 7 grams for half a cup. There's 3.5 servings here. I could eat an entire, I mean, I like them so much, I could eat an entire can. People like beans or they hate them. Yes. And like, it's so good. So good, right? And like if you make that, bring it with you for snacks. I always buy now. I do, since I shop at Aldi, they rotate. So sometimes it's like they have stuff and then you don't ever see it again. But they have these diced tomatoes with green chilies. It's like sounds silly, but it gives flavor to anything. I always have these in my pantry, and it's like I might do garbanzo beans, rice, and throw this on it, and it's a really great meal. I feel good. It's not fancy. It took me 2 seconds, right? And I have these little things here too. And this is like a silly thing, right? But I think about like what I like when I go out to a restaurant, right? I mean, I like a good steak. I really like good seafood. I love Italian, but I also like really good salads, right? And what I like about the good salads is like all the unique stuff that they put in there. Like they've got the artichoke heart and, you know, all the things. And I'm like, I can make that stuff at home, right? And so I make sure that I always have these types of things too. Like I've got we need fat, right? We've got the olives, we've got the artichoke hearts. So like when I'm looking at what I'm making for the week and I'm like, oh, this looks so boring, right? Or like, ugh, I'm kind of sick of this. I can add these types of things for flavor, right? And it's delicious. Or I love hot sauce, so I have hot sauce. I love avocados. I like all of the Annie's. I have no relationship with them, but like Annie's salad dressings, to me, they have like a million different types. And it's like, so I keep that stuff in my fridge all the time because sometimes I might feel like I just want to do the chicken and the rice and a veggie. But if I have those other things, I can flavor it and it tastes great. And again, you know, so it's like taking the time to kind of stock your pantry and your fridge for those extra things that you like so that you can make it more flavorful, right? A couple other things. Breakfast, I think, is hard for a lot of people as well. It's the first meal that goes. So when I'm talking to, I always say it's like it starts the cycle, right? A lot of my patients are like, I'm not a morning person. I like to get up. I like to go. So I know Allison brought these. This is
I do those like that's my pre-workout.
your snack, right?
I do that before workout.
Right.
It's like overnight oats. It's a really good breakdown for a pre-workout. I always have them here in the fridge.
Yeah.
Like I just bring a box and leave them here.
And probably not enough for just for breakfast, which is why she has it for a snack. But remember, we do not have to be fancy schmancy. We can do an overnight oats. What'd you say?
I said that combo.
Yeah.
If I was doing it for breakfast, I would do a mush, a yogurt, and I would put some fruit.
Yep, I was gonna say a banana or a fruit. Done, right? I make a smoothie every single day. Again, I'm boring, but I'm like I get they have a frozen. I should have brought fruit mix at Costco that I buy, and I have I can't remember what type of. I have like one of those singular blender things, and I actually leave it at work because I'm rushing in the morning, right? And so in the morning, I throw my fruit in there. I do my protein powder, and then I fill it up with milk, and it sits and kind of like just squishes all around in my car. And then as soon as I get to work, I blend it all up. And I found a way to make it like about like 350 to 400 calories. Like it's sustainable enough. I need a snack in like 2 hours. But you know, that's something that you can do. Costco also has, which they did not have them. I wanted to bring them, but they have these breakfast sandwiches that are made. Have you tried they have these English muffin like delight ones? Yeah, and the burritos. Yes, they're great. They're so good. Yes, I mean, yes, they do the egg muffins. It is. It is. Yeah, yeah. So don't be afraid to do that, right? Yeah. I also brought some of these little snack things. So I still love the applesauce squeezies, but I'm getting closer to 50 and my heartburn is getting worse. So sometimes when I have the applesauce squeezy and we do burpees, I'm like, I'm going to throw up. So I really like these That's It bars, and I'm going to open these so you guys can try them. They're little. I mean, they're small, but really, it's just fruit, basically, is what it is. It doesn't taste like a fruit roll up. I mean, it tastes like, right? But for one thing, it's 60 calories. You get 13 grams of carbs, which is really perfect for us right before our workouts. Not perfect before like the long endurance ones. Yeah. And they have a bunch of different flavors. So everybody kind of come and try these. They're great. I want to say this is $8.99. There's 20 says I think there's 24 in here. When it starts to get cooler, I keep this stuff in my car because somebody's always whining about being hungry or I forgot something. So I have granola bars, water, and these things in my car all the time, and it gets eaten because all my kids' friends know that it's in my car as well. These dried mangoes, these are a little bit more sweet. This is kind of the go-to. I've gotten my son plays baseball. I've gotten all the baseball players to keep this in the dugout and eat these instead of the sunflower seeds because I'm like, sunflower seeds aren't giving you any carbohydrates. You need carbs. But if you think they taste really great, I'm gonna open them, put them on a plate. 4 of these give you 35 grams of carbohydrates, which if you were running or rowing or doing any of these endurance things for an hour, you would do 2 for 30 minutes, 2 for 30 minutes. Tastes good, something great to have. You can do it for a pre-fuel too. Sometimes for my snack in the afternoon, so that I'm not starving and not rude when I get home for dinner time. Again, you have to like the cottage cheese. If you don't, you could have the yogurt of that and like a couple of the mangoes. Such an easy snack. They taste good. My kids think they're candy. These do have a little bit more added sugar, but again, it's like convenience versus being picky. I always say it's about the forest, not the tree, right? So I had somebody in my office this morning, great gal, runner. She's now on her 6th stress fracture. And I was like, this is a nutrition issue. You're not eating enough. And we were going through ideas and she kept saying, but well, what's the healthy choice? And I got up and I walked over to her and I sat down next to her. I put my hand on her hand and I said, the most unhealthy thing is that you are not eating enough and that you're skipping meals, right? So that is my first thing that I'll say about that. The second thing I say to some of my adults that really pisses them off, and this is not a judgmental statement, it's just a true statement. If you're worrying about sugar and what's healthy and what's unhealthy all the time, do you drink coffee? Do you drink alcohol? Do you take edibles? Not a judgment, but it's don't be a hypocrite. Do you know what I mean? It's about the forest, not the tree, right? I want you all to eat instead of skipping eating. And if it sucks and you don't want a meal plan and you don't want to do those types of things, you want to find a way for it to be easy and sustainable. Because this is the first step. You do all this, you find a way that it's easy, and then it becomes a pattern, right? Once it becomes a pattern, it's easy peasy. I mean, you find, I don't even really think while I'm doing it anymore. Do you? Literally, it's like what I do on Sundays.
I think about 3 things.
Yeah.
Do I have a protein?
Yep.
Do I have some sort of fruit or vegetable? And do I have some sort of additional carbohydrate, like a starch element to it?
Like baked potatoes, rice, pasta.
About the fat because a lot of times it comes along with the protein.
Right.
That's usually enough. Or if I'm doing a dairy, like this yogurt, this is not a 0-fat yogurt. Right? This yogurt has the fat that I need. The mush has a little bit of fat in as well, so that gets taken care of. And that's how Simon builds. Simon, what do you got? Well, I got steak. Well, what else do you need? I need a vegetable.
Yep.
Great, grab a vegetable, right? Like those are the three things that we look at. How are you going to build your meal?
Yep.
Like and so like that salad, like the carbohydrate that I have in there is a giant one of those giant fucking apples.
Yeah.
One of those guys, right? So I didn't add any other grains to it because that apple was just going to make me really full. So yeah, like you need a protein, you need a fruit or vegetable, and you need some sort of like a small amount of like starch of some kind.
Right.
If you focus on those three things, then the rest will like fall into place.
And it becomes a pattern. And then all of a sudden, like somebody's going out to the grill and you're like, oh, can you put these on? You know what I mean? Or like, I'm cooking this, I'm going to put this in. And then the interesting thing, once something becomes a pattern, right? You guys all have a pattern and it's a behavior for you to come to Odin. Would you agree? Like we all kind of go to the same classes all the time. At least I do, you know? And then it's kind of easy. It's like you pack your clothes in your bag or, you know what to do. You don't even think about it, right? The cool thing about what I think from the food is once it becomes a pattern, then you get the creativity, right? Because it doesn't seem like such a pain in the ass anymore. And it's like, oh, I actually really like it when I have lunch. It saves, at work or whatever, I'm saving money because I don't have to go out, right? Because I mean, food, going out to eat at a restaurant, it's a good experience, but it is probably doubled or tripled to what it was like years ago, right? I want them all to be successful, but I'm just saying, right? So then you start to be creative. It's like, oh, I know that I like these meals. And it's like, oh, you're at Costco and you're like, oh, look at those wontons. I think that that's something that I could use. Or like, I'm kind of sick of this chicken. Oh my gosh, look at this sliced grass-fed sirloin. They had pork carnita there today. And I was like, I'm getting that when I go on Sunday because I feel like it's a different type of meat. I want to try it. Or you start to have more confidence and you do what Allison says. You get the flank steak, you make it and that sort of thing. So it's first about the ease and the sustainability, then the pattern, then the creativity, right? Does that make sense, everybody? Okay.
So I have these for you guys, and I am going to send out in next week's email a link to I have a whole PDF of all sorts of nutrition information, even stuff about like alcohol and pre and post workout and all that jazz, right? Yeah. But I pulled out some things from it. This first one, you guys can take it. It's up on the screen too. But this first one gives you a good visual of literally like Amy was like, I brought these plates. I was like, oh, me too. Look at that. So like the breakdown of the plate and then like building a meal, right? But I also put in there some of my favorite breakfasts and then lunch/dinner. Dinner is just a bigger portion because I like big dinners. So
Yeah.
that's right. Girls gotta eat. Okay, so I put some of my favorite breakfast ideas on here, and the first one is a cold one, which is Greek yogurt, fruit, and then some sort of either oatmeal or granola. Look at that. The other one is if you want kind of like a scramble, if you will, if you're actually gonna cook, right? Some eggs, chicken sausage, a toasted English muffin with a side of fruit, right? Which is basically what I ate this morning. The other one is just another similar option, but like with turkey bacon or 2 slices of like whole grain toast or whatever, right? Like there's some options there. And then for dinner/lunch, I broke it up into if you want something I called it cold bowl. I put everything in a bowl. I don't eat off of plates, so everything's in a bowl. But a cold bowl would be like if you like Greek yogurt, kind of like an actual cold lunch. The other one is a rice or a grain bowl, right? Which would be something kind of like this. And then the other one is like a sandwich or a wrap, right? So just some really, really simple ones. But if you look at them, it has those three, every single one of them has those 3 components. What is my protein, right? Is that protein something that I bought pre-cooked, right? Or is it something that I cooked previously? Doesn't really matter to me as long as it's there. Protein, and then what's my fruit vegetable that I'm doing? Veggies for me are so just like grab 2 handfuls out of a bag.
Yeah.
Just go. I don't get super complicated with those. We're talking on a daily basis. When I have 5 hours in the kitchen and I get to cook all day, that's different. But I'm talking this is 90% of my life. Yeah. give me 2 handfuls of veggie and off I go.
And you enjoy what you eat. I mean, it's you can find a way to enjoy it.
Yeah. But those are there.
Yeah. Yeah.
What'd you say? I enjoy eating too. Food comes before the gym. Like, I am a food person. I eat a lot too. Like, the idea of skipping breakfast, no. No. Like, even if we are going on vacation, we book one of those stupid early morning flights and we're like,
I hate that.
I'm up at 2 in the morning making sure that I have breakfast ready to go and food with me. Like, I do not leave. It's so important to me. So I eat a lot, like you're saying, like I eat breakfast. 3 hours later, I usually have a snack.
Mm-hmm.
Then I have my lunch. Then I have an afternoon snack. Then I have a pre-workout. Then if I'm not going to have dinner right away, I have a snack. Then I have dinner, and I always eat before bed. Always. I have a snack before bed.
Yeah.
Molly sees me every 2 or 3 hours at work. I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm hungry again.
Yeah.
This is my work wonton bag. I will literally just throw it in the microwave and so for me, if I don't, I get into the world of if I'm hungry, I'm gonna fucking eat. And if I don't have food there, then I'm gonna go out and eat. Because I can handle a lot of discomfort. I cannot handle hunger discomfort.
Well, and
I will mentally girls
right,
gotta eat.
Right.
I fall apart, and Jason knows too. When it's coming, I could do the longest, most ridiculous hard workout you ever throw at me. I don't care. But if I'm hungry for 10 minutes, I will take it. So I just can't, and I know that about myself. So I bring it's always stocked here. I always have food in my car. I just went away for the weekend, and I always had a bag of snacks with me. Whether I eat it or not doesn't matter. It's there. I had a lot of travel apples. I think I had 6 travel apples. Yeah.
Well, and I think about it I go to the noon, and so if I didn't eat a good breakfast, and if I didn't have a snack before, there's nothing that pisses me off more than when I feel bad during my workout, because I'm like, oh God, I'm taking so much. This is an awesome hour of my day. Everybody's so kind here. I no longer feel isolated coming back here, but there's nothing worse to me. I mean, I know myself. I've been around for a while. Knowing when I look at a workout on the board and I'm like, I'm going to kill this workout. And then if I'm halfway through and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? I can't even move. And I'm like, it's all because if I didn't have a snack or something, what a stupid thing. You know what I mean? Of all of the things that I'm responsible for. So I tell myself, from the expense thing, I will agree. Somebody said the expense, there is an expense, but
you're going to spend it no matter what.
Yes. And if you can this is something that I do as well. Every Saturday, I do my menu plan because I don't like people ask me what's for dinner every single night. I write it on a chalkboard. I'm like, look at the chalkboard, and I do my Instacart, grocery list. And I think for me, not going into the grocery store, not having anybody with me, can we get this? Can we get that? And you know what I mean? Not that I would say no, but it's I don't have that mindless stuff. So I've been able to really keep a budget. And I'm I'm worth it. I do a lot of shit for my family. I'm the COO of my family too. And I am worth it to be fueled and fed and recovered so that I can work out and feel great about myself. So just kind of framing it up that way too. I think a lot of times we, oh, whatever, I'll worry about everybody else. That's, that tends to happen, but making it a priority, you guys deserve it, right? We want to kick ass in the gym. We're working hard. We don't want to be when you go and you pick up the empty bar and you're like, oh shit, this feels heavy today. I'm like, oh no, you know what I mean? So, questions. I want you guys to ask questions.
No, I'm happy for one thing because you did not put all the containers organized.
Yeah. I
That
brought
was
them in
my
case, but
thing.
yeah.
Because I think when I do that, which sometimes I do, some weekends I do, and then I feel great, I'm damn, flushing.
Yeah.
And then when I cannot do it, I feel like I'm lost.
Yep.
Now I screw up. I'm not doing good because I didn't do that.
Yeah.
So now you just gave me some idea. I can just take it to work, it's frozen.
Yep. Well, I
Whether
think
you
that,
prep it or not, like whether
yeah.
you have 10 million of these ready to go in your fridge for the week or not doesn't matter. The stuff is there. So like I did this morning. It's not like I prepped 6 of them for the whole week.
Right.
Right? But I wake up in the morning, I'm not stressed about it because I know I've got some rice already made in the fridge. Right? If you don't have a rice cooker, get one. Like,
Yeah.
Like just make a batch of
It does.
So I knew I had rice. I knew I had frozen veggies. I had some meatballs. I always have some sort of fun little. I'm like, cool. So I get up, and as like I'm, just doing my morning stuff, it takes me 2 seconds. So it's not like I'm, doing the whole thing. I can sometimes if I have time, but a lot of times it's not.
And this,
I
it's
also feel like I screw up on the quantity.
Yeah.
Because I'm meal prepping, in my head only for me.
Right. Well, I mean,
because there's 2 other men to eat, and then like, damn it, that's not enough, and then no, you know what I mean? Because there's not more chicken or no more.
Right. Well, and think about, like, I always say, like, exactly what you're talking about is like the psychology of marketing, right? Like, I guarantee if we didn't have, I blame everything on social media, but I feel like if we didn't have like all the people on Instagram, like they're gorgeous, their outfits are stunning, they're in their like, they're walking and, and they're like, abs are made in the kitchen. I'm like, those abs are made in the kitchen. But anyways, but you know what I mean? And then they have everything prepped out. So visually, that is pleasing to all of us. And then if we see that over and over, the average person sees 1,000 images on social media a day. And that's all you see, right? You're getting this endorphin response from it. And you're like, okay, I did it. Yes. And then, you know what I mean? So it's like, yeah. So getting rid of those, like the perception, the expectations, and being like, hey, this is what my meal planning is this week. And walking into work and being like, bam, you know what I mean? It's fine. Yeah. Because I'm like, your abs might be made in the kitchen, but I'm sure you're not doing as much as I'm doing in a day. So good for you, right? Like, so. Yes. Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah.
It doesn't last in terms of some of the like fresh foods and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, the best in year of 2023 for me was, I think it was Sarah that also told, someone told me, you can do Costco on Instacart. I'm like, what?
Oh, everything is on Instacart now. I know.
Yeah, I saw it in the store.
Yeah. Any other questions or thoughts or anything you disagree with that you want to debate about? Yeah.
I'm extremely interested in that plain steak apple salad. Yeah, you want to try it? You can eat it right now. I did not meal prep dinner tonight. It's all yours. Do you chop it up ahead of time to make it brown, or do you chop it up thick? I cut this morning. Ta-da! Guys, I should start an OnlyFans.
Yeah, I know.
Salad. No, I literally just cut it this morning. But yeah, that's it. Yeah, I just chopped it this morning.
But that's like if you're buying, this is the geeky dietitian part. If you're buying these, don't buy the clear ones because they turn color from the oxidation of like light. So if you get the cloudy ones, and then you can also put a little bit of acid in it, like lemon juice or like a little bit of vinegar or something, and that will keep it from not turning brown as well.
This doesn't have a dressing on it because guess what? I didn't have time for this morning, right? But my favorite dressing to put on is one that I make, and it's lemon juice. So it's like 2/3 lemon juice, 1/3 of honey. If you have a spicy honey, even better. I literally just microwave it so it all mixes up, and then I ground like a pepper grinder. Universal symbol for pepper grinder. I grind pepper in it, and so it's like pepper, lemon juice, a little bit of honey, and I keep it in like a mason jar in the fridge. And when I take it, I just like give it a little shake and then drizzle it, and so that's really good on top of that. I just didn't have time this morning, so I literally just like that, and it's delicious, and that's fine. But like I say, you can put other stuff in it. I don't like cucumbers and maybe like I didn't have, like in the summertime when the tomatoes are beautiful and like those orange ones from Wegmans. I love those. So like I will jazz it up even more. This was like basic, I hate to say basic bitch, but a little bit of like, that's all I have time for this morning. That's fine. But you can jazz it up more if you want to. You're welcome to try it.
So
but I did make both those steaks yesterday, and we ate one of them for dinner, and then the other one was in the fridge for lunches.
I'm gonna open some of these things. Do we have paper? You don't have paper plates.
Yeah,
You do.
Plates. You guys are welcome.
I'm gonna open some of these things, and like if you're somebody who like is grossed out about like try these the chicken, because sometimes I'm a little bit weird about like the texture of chicken. I was pleasantly surprised at this taste, not rubbery. This is from Aldi. It's like they name everything different. So Tuscan Garden. It might be named something different next week, but yes, they do. Yes, the vanilla high protein yogurt. It's delicious. It's really good. Yeah. Try some of these things. You can grab the That's It things. I'm going to put some of the dried mangoes on here. Sorry, I should have brought some.
Yeah, I have little bowls.
Oh, perfect.
Right here.
They can just like dump. If you guys want to just like dump some things in your bowls, can you? Yeah, take a plate, please.
Ooh, yum. That looks good.
This is expired, so I don't want anybody to eat that. The mangoes, they're like chewy. Oh yeah, thank you for coming. You like them? I know. That's the only thing. I mean, my husband has a problem with them. I have to have like, I'm like, hello. But I just kind of.
The smaller bags and I eat the whole thing.
I know. I mean, I kind of grab them like, and I eat like what I'm having with this, so I have both. That fills me up, but I know. I'm gonna. Sorry.
I'm gonna wash it, and someone else can use it.
I'm gonna open up some of this chicken. I grabbed your knife.
Yeah. Oh yeah, totally. Open it. Tell you.
Yeah, try it. Like, try it.
Like a variety.
Yeah, try it.
No, sodium.
Yeah, it's a little bit higher in the sodium, but the whole chicken.
See, this is my meal prep. The cats helped him get it off the counter.
Oh my God, that's like my dog.
There was no.
Oh, that is like. Oh man. Grab some of the chicken if you want. I'm like,
Apple and protein for lunch.
Protein, that's it.
So I can use all these rice
mhm.
on here, not
My
right?
Right.
is not
Yeah.
Yep.
hard cheese, but it can use soft. So the good cheese is
What do you think?
I love that. Really good.
I love the mangoes.
Wow.
I mean,
She said the chicken comes in a set of 12.
yeah,
Like, how
mean-
expired is that flank steak?
like September 4th. I was really pissed off about it too, but I'm gonna buy another. I'll bring it in. It's so good. It's I know. I wonder if it will smell. It literally looked like the front of there. It's like thin enough that you don't have to have a knife to cut it. The chicken, I know. I mean, it does have a little bit more sodium in it, so it can stay. But feel free to try some of these things. Did you try the That's It bars? I love these things. I mean, I love cheese and pepperoni, and
It produces a
so
salad.
good. I know, they're so good.
You know, I can't judge because then I get out to eat and you don't know how much sodium.
Well, that's the thing. I know.
I have a really easy 30-minute elegant dinner.
Do you? What is it?
So it's green beans from Costco,
Okay.
sliced bella mushrooms, you might have to slice them up,
Okay.
2 cloves of garlic,
Okay.
and I use the green chili oil from Lever,
Yep.
and I put it in a Ziploc bag, turn the grill on, put it in a Ziploc bag,
Yeah.
my green beans are already done.
Yep.
Then I throw it on a tray,
I might put white cross hammock on it then, or when I'm done,
Okay.
put it on the grill for 20 minutes.
Okay.
At the 10-minute mark, I take a piece of salmon
Ooh.
and put it
Oh
on
my
for
God.
10 minutes.
Okay.
Sit down with my husband.
But then this one,
a glass
I
of
tell you,
wine,
Oh my God, I would love that.
Then at the 30 minutes.
All right,
tops,
I'm gonna
from
try that.
start to finish.
I love
And it's like,
salmon.
French onion, I keep the garlic and the green. So yesterday I got some of the conti, whatever it is, whatever the meat is that is in it.
Yeah.
You know what it is.
Yeah.
And that is marinating right now.
Oh, I love that.
A teaspoon of garlic, and then I'll put the other seasons in, and that'll be top.
That's
Yeah,
awesome. I like that.
See, I like these too. When my kids come around, this is the chicken stuff I have in the house.
Yeah.
Because they'll eat that.
Yeah.
The sodium itself, I do try it.
To watch it. Yeah.
So Costco, huh?
I love Costco. I mean, I hate it that every time I go there, I spend more than I want to. You know what I mean?
We talked about it today.
Yep. It's like,
That's why it's better to do the Instacart because you go there.
I know. That's